So I guess since I've been experiencing some really crazy shit, I'll finally talk about ego death because it's wild. And there's, I don't know, this might be a longer video, to be honest. Just, I have, well, firstly, yesterday, I'm gonna leave my house because there've been crows following me for like 2 days now, so I'm gonna see if I can watch him. Like, do you see him up in the tree? Hold up. Right there. Watch this shit. He'll follow me. Look, see? Oh, he's coming. Moved up into a different part in the tree. You can't see him, but watch. Yeah. Oh, right above me. That's what I've been dealing with for like, well, for longer than 2 days, but like, I don't know, the last, like, since we've had the fucking moon energy from the other day, this is what I've been dealing with. So I'm gonna go for a walk, see if I can get away from his ass. Yeah, like, I don't know if it's just like a protection bird, if it's some type of like spiritual omen, or I don't know if it's some type of like esoteric message or something. I don't know. I haven't been able to figure it out. But it doesn't follow me when I leave my house, I don't think, so there's that. But I found like some other stuff too, because I was trying to go over avian messages, because I don't know if you guys know about like higher dimension beings and stuff, but apparently avians are higher dimensional beings, and they actually have throughout history they have like a connection in the spirit world, like, you know, through different tribes and just like beliefs and just, you know, nature and stuff, and what people have always kind of connected with them. But you know, other than that, I went for a walk today to just kind of like cleanse my, you know, my spiritual vibe. Yeah. And so the bird followed me around. I honestly wanted to leave my house mostly because the birds were just like doing some strange ass shit this morning. Like, there was this crow, I don't know, it got like injured by like, I don't know, like a squirrel or something, and it like flew into like the wall of my neighbor's house. And I felt like it was just like significant for some strange reason. I've just been like kind of picking up on messages lately. And then not only that, there was a bunch of other crows, just kind of like a small little, not a murder of crows, but a small little flock of them. So the bird like falls, and they're all just squawking, and they're doing this thing, whatever. But like later on, they start squawking at me, like I'm just going out to like throw out trash and shit, and they start this one single crow starts squawking at me and like follows me. I don't know if it's mad because of its friend or something, but I honestly feel like it's a fucking message. But, you know, the only reason is because I also, to ask my spirit guides, I asked, you know, for some affirmations of just like the avian message, because, well, one, I'm not good at channeling and picking up messages. I have a highly conflicted Virgo brain that always overanalyzes. So I'm like not really able to like figure out exactly what this message is, but like I went for that spiritual walk later on, and I find feathers. Yeah, we're out there in nature and stuff, you know, vibing and shit and clearing my chakras and meditating and shit. But then I find feathers, you know, while I'm thinking about this stuff, right? It's not just like I find feathers. I'm like meditating on it. I'm thinking about it as I'm walking. I find these feathers on the ground as an affirmation. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, well, that still messes me up in the head. I don't really know how to read that, right? can you just send me another feather for an affirmation for this, even if it's not gonna make sense? Hopefully it'll make sense. I'm gonna meditate on it later. But like, I don't know. I found another feather, and it's just, I don't know. Hopefully I can meditate on it, figure out what the fucking crows mean or something. But apparently it's like maybe like a guide that I'm going on the right path or something. I don't really know, because everything I've been like thinking about and going through has just been sending me so much conflicted messages. I'm trying to read the universe. That's like the hardest task for me, I think, because I'm an overanalyzer. That's what I've done my whole life. That's what I know. That's how I, grew up in school, was analyzing shit and thinking too fucking much. But I don't know. Regardless, let's just go over ego death. I just want to kind of talk about the crow thing, because it's been fucking bugging me all fucking day. I feel like it has something to do with what I'm going to talk about. Like, dude, I think ego death has probably been like the strangest shit for me, like through this whole process of awakening. Mostly just because I don't have anybody to fucking relate to. That's the shittiest thing about like ego death, is not having anybody to fucking relate to while you're going through it. Fucking sucks. And I've tried to talk to all kinds of different people, and it seems like no matter like which corner I turn, I'm either getting like, messages that I already kind of figured out on my own, or maybe some affirmations for stuff that I figured out on my own, wasn't too sure about. Or, I talk to people, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, So it's like, it's kind of like up to me to just use my intuition to figure out what the fuck all this shit means, which, obviously conflicts me and even more, so. But, like, ego death is intense. Like, I think, like, so, like, I talked about this in, like, my previous, like, my first videos, was talking about, like, what my awakening was like, which was, like, this crazy process of me, like, just, like, having this crazy prophetic dream. And before, I will tell you right now, I wear this Sailor Moon shirt, but I'm not into, like, astrology. I was never into astrology before I had a spiritual awakening and was, like, connected with my spirit self again. So, like, that kind of, just affirmed shit for me for real, because every time there was some like planet alignment, or something that was supposed to happen, I felt it coming before it happened. Like, I wasn't into astrology, and I affirmed all of this shit on my own. So that's why I believe in it, just like intuition. So I got some of that intuition down. It's just like some of it, obviously it's gonna conflict me still, so I'm gonna try to find somewhere to sit down, hopefully help with the rambling. Yeah, so like I said, like, the hardest part of dealing with, like, ego death is that, like, you don't have anybody to relate to. That's the hardest part. And then just, like, going through everything and just trying to figure out the universe on your own is super, it's not necessarily scary, but it's fucking confusing. It's so confusing. And with, like, collective consciousness, it's, like, something you have to, like, figure out how to integrate yourself into, like, back into after you have ego death. Like, that can be really tricky, I think. It's like, it's not necessarily, the ego death sucks dick too, because like, when I went through it, I had that prophetic dream. Oh yeah, going back, talk about rambling, I had that prophetic dream about, like, the planets aligning, and I didn't know about this shit. I didn't know about the planets aligning. I don't follow astrology, I don't follow astronomy. Like, I'm interested in it, I guess, but like, it's not like my thing. So I had this fucking crazy dream. I think it was like back in like April 18th or something, before whenever, I think the planet alignment was like on the 25th or the 27th or something. There was like Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, I think, were lining up. and there was some crazy stuff. So I had that in a dream. Again, I'll talk about it. I went over this in a different video, but the dream is my face. I was back at my dad's house in New Mexico, and talking with my husband and my dad, and we were just chit-chatting, and I fainted, right? And then I walk outside and I look outside, and there's these massive planets lined up, and I faint again. And so it just kind of it disorients me in my dream. I'm like disoriented in my dream. And so I walk inside of my grandpa's old shop, and then I look inside of a mirror in the bathroom, and my face is like warped. It's like melted. It's like not real. Like there's a ripple in reality, is the message it was trying to tell me, is that the Matrix was breaking. That's the message it was trying to convey. And I didn't understand it at the time. It's like slowly getting conveyed to me. Like, you know, even as I make this video, it's getting conveyed to me. Like, fuck, dude. Well, I have dabbled, I will tell you, I have dabbled with psychedelics. I used to take like mushrooms, like I think I've had them like 4 or 5 times in my life, maybe 6. I used to take ecstasy when I was younger, kind of had like a little bit of a party time when I was younger. And then cannabis I smoke, that's natural, we won't get into that discussion. And I had acid on 420, I think it was like last year? Was it last year? No, I think it was a couple years ago. Oh dude, that shit was fucking weird. So, I didn't have ego death after that too. I mean, I don't think acid's really one of those drugs that kind of makes you have ego death. It makes you think about shit, for sure. DMT and like ayahuasca, that's where like you really start to see like the ego death, and like fucking reality just kind of fall apart on you. I've never had DMT though, dude. I've never fucking smoked DMT. My dad talked about it, like he had some and stuff, and was just kind of like, you know, reluctant to smoke it. I think he eventually did. I don't remember exactly. I don't remember the story. But it's just weird because it's brought up in my life where you start thinking and contemplating these things, but you don't actually do it. It's still prevalent in your life. So that's why I knew when like I had my awakening, it was like a DMT experience, because it's fucking weird. I like looked this up right after too, about like the whole ball of light like swirling in front of you and stuff, and you know, that was like on point. My eyes were like super dilated. I mean, I wish I could explain more of it, but it was crazy too, because it's not like, it's like this reality itself is a DMT like trip for me, and it makes me, I think this is like the hardest part for me to cope with too, because I'm still trying to like wrap my head back around to the collective consciousness. I think that's like the hardest thing, is for me to come back to collective consciousness, just with, well, one, with how weird things are with like coronavirus and all that, crown chakra virus, but you know, I don't know, I'm figuring shit out as we go, but I'm still trying to like integrate myself back into like the collective consciousness. Like I said, it's like super hard, because like it just makes me wonder, because like, one, I don't have like too much people in like my personal life to relate to, so it's hard to like find anybody to talk to about this shit. But like, there's a lot of strangers that I've met, and I feel like they've not necessarily been like, they've kind of been like spirit guides for me in a way. And like, everything in this universe is kind of connected in the astral realm, is what I've learned, because the way that I woke myself up wasn't necessarily just like a trip in my mind. Like, it was like, it's strange, because it kind of goes into like how this reality isn't really here. Like, most of it's just a projection. We're astral projecting our, you know, our thoughts and stuff. And I'm just trying to figure out like how the manifestation shit works, and just like, you know, what exactly that means, because like, yeah, so like, I'm really just trying to figure out like how the whole manifestation, like I think my problem is like I'm an overthinker, so it's hard for me to like just kind of calm my thoughts down. And then I'm an empath too, so that just like I'm just like, you know, feeding into all of this energy in the air. And then the planets are lining up, there's like eclipses for like fucking 6 months straight, and I'm just like, oh my god, dude, I'm trying to cope. I will tell you what, it's been shitty. And like it's like almost that, it's that thing that makes you like almost want to, you know, just like, you know, just dissipate and just kind of escape your mind, because I think that's like the thing that's been fucking with me the most, is just how much my fucking spirit just wants to leave this body or whatever this is and like just escape. And like I've been trying to do it like through astral projection too. So, and I know there's a part of me telling me that it's not necessarily the answer, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to figure stuff out. But fuck, dude, like I don't know, it's just so conflicting and so confusing, because like I'm trying to read the messages that the universe tells me through like, you know, affirmations and stuff, because I've gotten pretty good at that. Like I said, through my awakening, everything was kind of like through algorithms and shit. Like the way that I was woken up was like half through algorithms on the internet, which sounds bizarre, but dude, it's everything is connected to the astral realm. Don't believe anything otherwise, because it's a fucking lie. Television. Anyway, so like that's like and then, you know, being lied to and deceived for like ever, and then jumping into this like reality that everything's a lie and you're astral projecting your thoughts. I'm like, dude, how do you jump out of that? How do you reset your mind? How do you know what to manifest if everything that you've known, I don't know, was a lie? Well, I know what I want to manifest, and it's pretty simple. It's just, you know, love, peace, happiness, unity, oneness with the collective. That's what I want to manifest. That's like the only thing I really care about. I'm pretty sure this is like my last lifespan here on Earth, is what I was told. Through different affirmations I won't get into too much detail on. But like, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm like what it is, if I'm supposed to like, you know, choose through these dimensions, because we're all here in this is a multi-dimensional plane of existence. We can choose our own path and you know, decide which way we want to go. But like, I don't know if it's like, you know, the messages it's telling me I'm not understanding them very well, or if, I don't know, life is just trying to tell me to make a hard decision. I don't know. I really don't know what to do, because like I'm the type of person that's like always been like super critical and like narcissistic and wanting to like, you know, figure out how shit's gonna end up, where I'm gonna end up, and you know, things in life haven't really been going that way for me lately, especially with all this shit going on. So I mean, I've already broken that side of me down, just trying to let go and surrender to the universe, because you know, when that mushroom job fell in my lap, like I think that's, and then this happened, I think that's when it finally like hit in my stomach that, you know, sometimes life is just, you know, where you are and where you're supposed to be. Like I said, like as I say these things, I'm discovering them. So like just letting yourself be in time and space is like really hard for me, just because there's so much changes going on right now, and you know, the universe is like sending me these messages. These crows are following me around sometimes, and then I'm just getting these weird omens and weird affirmations through like numerology and gematria, which, oh god, I'll have to make a whole video on that, because that shit, I think gematria is like the most confusing affirmations out of all of them, and I should probably quit with gematria because it's a little, I don't know, it's a little conflicting sometimes, and I just don't understand like the difference between, you know, options and what your intuition is really guiding you for, because I fucking struggle with my brain and my heart. Like they've always been in, and I don't know, like just trying to like, you know, figure everything out, figure why I'm fucking here, and if this mission that I'm supposedly given. Like, say I am from Pleiades, I am a star seed, which is the only thing that fucking makes sense after this awakening, by the way. Then, like, what do I do? Where do I go from here? That's like the hardest part for me, is trying to figure out what the fuck is the next stage in life, because like everything so far has been worked out for me by my divine self. I mean, I'm gonna assume that everything else in the universe will work out for me too. I just gotta like learn how to like get rid of some of these conflicting thoughts, maybe. Hopefully that'll help. But like, it's just so hard dealing with like ego death, because like I said, like I cried, like I said this in my first video too, like I cried for like a few days. I was just like bawling my ass out, dude. And I don't know if it was like because of anything specific. I was just crying, and it was just like purging out all of this unnecessary bullshit. And I guess in a way I've been kind of asking, you know, for this my whole life, is just like a form of like ego death, and just, you know, getting rid of shit that doesn't serve you, like purging out. That's what a purge means. Remember, guys, purging is good. You're getting rid of, you know, the elements of your life that don't really, you know, serve your greater good and your greater purpose. But it's just so weird, because I mean, how everything else is connected too in this reality. Like, it just makes me wonder if I'm like the only soul here. And I think that's like the darkest part out of all of this, is just, you gotta remember that we're all of, you know, like the law of one, the tablets of Thoth, like we're all a part of oneness, we're all part of collective consciousness. But like when other people are still sleeping, it's so hard to cope with like everything else around you, just because like you're the only one that's really like aware of the strange things in reality. Like other people are aware, but they're not like aware like you are. They don't see patterns. Like I see patterns, and I see like, you know, fucking things that aren't there now, and, you know, hear things that aren't there. And like last night I like went through a fucking portal last night, and I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't fucking sleeping. I was like literally having an acid trip. And it was so bizarre, so indescribable, because it was just, I wasn't in this dimension. Like I felt my body, and I remember kind of opening my eyes a little bit and seeing like, and it's crazy because I affirmed this through somebody's TikTok today. They were telling me how to, you know, visualize energy, which was another form of affirmation through algorithms, like I was talking about. It was like this, when I opened my eyes, I like saw these sparkles of light, like light energy just around me. And then I just kind of closed my eyes, slowly back closed again, and it was just, oh, it's so bizarre. Just not really having too many people to talk to about all this stuff, and just trying to figure out what all of it means on your own, and just waiting for people to wake up around you, and just using things like this video to help wake up others is just, I don't know. It's my task, I guess, but it's a strange task, and it's confusing even for me, and I guess it kind of makes it easier, and it makes it more relatable for you guys to know that, you know, I'm a higher dimensional being, and this shit's fucking weird. Everything in reality is weird. It's not scary. And the only people that make it scary are the elites and their programming and trying to trick people into living in fear and hate. And I don't think that everyone realizes that. And fuck, it's just so, I don't know. I don't know what to do, you know? Life's giving me choices and shit, and I had this massive ego death. And I just don't know what to do with all of this. Besides, you know, doing what I'm doing, I guess. hopefully making money doing it somehow. Hopefully a job will fucking fall in my lap. I think that's the only thing I'm more or less worried about now is just, money, because I had that job and it was like taken away from me and it sucked. But like, there are so many different, elements to ego death. You can force an ego death, which I highly don't recommend. Like, you want to set your intentions in the correct path. You want your divine self to set that intention for you. Like, I've seen people fall on the streets, like, petitioning and doing, petitioning for psilocybin therapy in Oregon. I've seen people just live on the streets because they're so, like, wrapped up in the, esoteric and the other dimensions, the higher dimensions, that they're not able to relate to anybody else around here. And fuck, do I relate to that. Dude, I relate to that so heavy now, and it just fucking sucks because, you're left feeling like an outsider, Like, I talked to my dad about this. I love my dad, but, like, he just kind of grew up different. My mom grew up different. Like, they grew up with these systems around them to, like, kind of, program their minds around these specific beliefs and ideas. So I can't really relate to people. I can't relate to my family about stuff like that because, like, well, one, my dad's not necessarily like a Satanist, but he likes, like, metal and rock and, he fucks with it and jokes around about it, but it's not like it's evil. The only thing that's fucking evil in this lifespan is intention and where you set your intentions. That's literally where magic comes from, is your intent and your will and what you want to manifest. Like, see, I'm talking about how I didn't know how to manifest things earlier, but, like, I don't know, what if your intentions are wrong? I think that's the thing that fucks with me the most, is, like, how do you know if your intentions are coming from the right place? I guess you can just hope and believe, and, hopefully life has made you at least somewhat of a divine creature where you can see some of the good aspects in life before you start fucking with things you don't need to fuck with. And just, like, all of this conflicting energy, I'm trying to learn how to tone down, like, the reactions. I think that's, like, the hardest thing, is just trying to, like, cope and be by myself sometimes. I think, like, the first time today, I kind of finally went on a walk by myself, and I haven't done this in, like, fucking years, I guess. Apparently, fuck. I just go out, breathe, be with nature. I put, like, a spell down for myself, a protection spell, just like an energy bubble. Help kind of guide myself to the right headspace. Hopefully purge out, shit that doesn't really serve me. I think it's worked. It was a pretty good process through this morning. I went through, I did all those affirmations. I found feathers to affirm my avian messages that I haven't quite deciphered. I'm gonna meditate on it later. But, like, I don't know. It's still confusing. I think it's gonna be confusing until shit starts making more sense too. So I'm just, like, I don't know. I'm gonna learn how to just be, I guess. Whatever that means. Breathe in that pranayama and just try to see the good things in life and just, hope for the best. I think above all else, just hope for the best and hope for everyone else's chance to wake up and give them time to process everything, because that's, like, that's the other hard thing about everything else, is patience and dealing with shit on your own and being the only one awake. You gotta learn patience and learn how to just let people live the life they want to live, but at the same time teach them how to be a better person. That's confusing, especially with all the programming we have today, where we're just kind of morphed into these, identities and labels, and we relate ourselves so heavily to them. when they're just fucking labels. Like I say, like I'm finding myself less and less like a Virgo every day as I try to, you know, dissipate that over analytical part of my brain. And I think that's like one of the higher messages life is trying to tell me too, is not everything is about labels, and sometimes, you know, you just let life be and it'll figure itself out eventually. I don't know. I'm hoping that's the message, because I'm just gonna go with it for now, because I've just like, after this morning I surrendered. I let out my intention bottle. It had this like crazy thing. I felt like it was metaphoric. I'm like jerking off the wind. It was like metaphoric. I shook the bottle and like it like spewed out like all of this energy, and it felt like felt like it was metaphorical, because it was just like spewing out all of this crazy energy that I was just holding on to and didn't need. I don't know. I hope that's what that message was. I don't know. Maybe it was just the energy from me shaking the bottle up so much, but it's just, I don't know. Through ego death, like, you can either go through it, like, you know, by asking your spirit guides to kind of help guide you to, you know, tapping into that type of energy, or you can experience it the hard way, which is like, you know, through drugs and experimenting with drugs. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, you know, experimenting with drugs is bad. There's nothing wrong with, like, you know, exploring consciousness, exploring reality. But you can end up on some like dark paths that way. Maybe not necessarily dark paths, but you start to, like, you know, you forget to integrate yourself into, like, you know, the rest of the collective. I don't know. That's just my perception, though. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know. I'm just hoping things will eventually start making more sense, and that, you know, I don't know, that somebody else goes through ego death that's in my life and can, like, talk to me about it, because it would just make things so much easier if there's somebody to relate to. I don't know. I was thinking about getting into, like, the shroom dabbling business. I won't say business for YouTube reasons, but they're getting pretty popular out here in Oregon, so I honestly don't really give a fuck with the way things are going. I'm gonna start doing this thing where I eat, you know, mushrooms daily. Like, I think I'm gonna do, like, the whole, like, microdosing thing for, like, a month. See how that goes, see where it takes me. And then hopefully be able to integrate that into, like, my shamanistic stuff, and, like, being able to, like, you know, help heal other people. It's like, I think that's what my path is. I'm pretty sure that's what my path is. I think that's what the universe is telling me, like, through these avian messages. It's either that or I need to join the Air Force, because Space Force, I don't know, whatever. We'll meditate on it and see if I can get some more divine messages other than bird feathers, because I'm not a good channeler. I can keep trying. I'm gonna keep trying, but I'm not that great at it yet. I think that's mostly what I wanted to talk about with, like, ego death, just so it's a little easier for you guys to be able to, like, kind of relate to it. There's obviously, there's a lot of other aspects to ego death, and I think it really boils down to the individual and just who your personality is, and the shit that you know, dwell on, and the, you know, what happened in your life, things like that. So I won't go too detailed in that shit, because I could just talk about that for, like, ever. And I'm not gonna get detailed anyway. But, like, yeah, just, you know, find, like, outlets. I think that was, like, my biggest thing, is going through, like, you know, the spirit bubble, like, putting a spirit bubble and meditating. Meditating is a good outlet. Drawing is a good outlet, you know. Exercise, that's a really good outlet. Grounding yourself. Just doing whatever you possibly can to just stay here in the moment and just process this information. And then, you know, tell your spirit guides, hey, yo, this is a little crazy. Can we, like, chill out for a little bit? And they'll listen to you, I promise you, because I've been, like, in and out of, like, you know, doing that. Because I'm like, yeah, I want more. And then they give me more, and I'm like, fuck. Okay, never mind. a little too much, guys. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Reality's fake. Most of it's just stuff I project, but can you, like, let me figure out how to project that first? Anyway. So, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. It's just giving you guys something to kind of go off of with ego death. If you guys have any questions, like specific questions, just, you know, write them down in the comments. I'll try to cover them the best I can. Yeah, you know. It's not the end of the world, guys. Nothing is. We're all here just floating in space. Time is not real. It's just a cycle. A cycle of infinite illusions that you create yourself somehow. I'll figure that part out later and we'll discuss in a different video in the future soon, hopefully. Anyway, you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you need help dealing with your ego death. You know, don't be afraid to, like, message me on social media. Got lots of links down there. And a good website, too. I've updated some of my website info if you guys want to go over, like, the Raw Law of One, the Laws of Vibration. I think I'll probably put some stuff in there about, like, soul traps and, soul mates and twin flames and some more information, but so far there's just like stuff about like chakra, meditation, just some basic stuff, and some blogs. I'm gonna do some more writing and hopefully get to my book soon. So you guys have a good one, and yeah, peace.